All right. What's up, guys? We're back with B&E Sports Talk. I'm Evan,
I'm Brady.
and we're bringing you the top 20 tight ends today.
All right, let's get it. Tight ends are a fun one just because, there's only a few tiers of people and, you know, the upside drops off so fast.
Yeah, I mean, there's the top guys, and then there's everybody else,
Right.
pretty much. I mean, if you're missing out on your top two or three options in your draft, and in the first, well, it's historically it's been like the first 2 or 3 rounds. I think this year maybe outside of the first three, maybe 4 rounds, four if you're lucky. If you're missing out on any of those guys that are going there, like it's a toss up if you get a guy in the 5th or 6th round, if he's even going to score as many points as a guy that goes undrafted or that gets drafted in the 20th round if you have a deeper league.
Exactly. I mean, we had guys in our league playing the carousel with them last year, just picking up and dropping and
Yeah.
having fun on the waiver wire with it.
I mean, usually that's what I end up doing. Like, you know how I always wait and wait and wait if I don't get Kelsey or Kittle or whatever. I think 2 years ago, I didn't draft my tight end until like the 24th round. Got completely screwed for the first couple of weeks. But then I found somebody on the waiver wire that ended up, I don't even remember who it was. But I mean, he ended up being like a top 9, 8 tight end on the season at the end of it. And it worked out great. So I mean, that stuff happens with tight ends. It's such a cool position because of course there's always diamonds in the rough in other positions too, but with tight ends especially, almost every year someone that you've never heard of before is going to finish as a borderline tight end one.
Yeah, definitely. They're always finishing in that top 10 range, giving that nice solid tight end, it's giving you 8 to 10 points.
It's tough though. I mean, PPR with tight ends, if you don't have one of those top guys, I mean, like you just said, 10 points, that seems to be like, I'll live with it usually, assuming that you've built your other parts of your roster strongly around having a weaker tight end spot. When it comes to 10 points, I take that every time. 12 points is great. Anything above that is just butter, basically.
Right. I mean, I'm just happy I'm getting double digits with my tight end. Not getting played on some 5 or 6 point stuff.
Because it happens if you don't have those top guys. And I mean, even with them, sometimes it happens.
Yeah. I mean, I had Mark Andrews last year, and obviously I rode it when it was great, and then
it was not great at all.
Off, it wasn't great at all.
Yeah, I mean, like, even Kittle, he had some games last year with like 20 yards on 3 catches.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. I mean, Kittle's always considered a top guy, but last year kind of shows he's slowing down a little bit. He's still in the top 10 of tight ends, obviously, because he's hard. But last year, he showed a loss of a step, in my opinion.
I disagree on that, but we'll get into him here in a minute. Before we get started, though, Joe Burrow just went down in practice, but thank God we just read the news that it's a calf strain, not a calf tear or anything crazy.
Yeah, hopefully it just stays as that, and he doesn't keep retweaking it.
Man, everything would be just gone to shit for the Bengals if he's not playing this year. It'd be straight back to what it was 3 years ago.
Right. Ryan Finley.
Or 4 years ago. But yeah. Also found out that we were wrong talking about last week, the PUP. We were under the impression that once they're put on it, they have to sit the first 4 weeks of the season. But because it's in training camp right now, they're put on what's called the active POP list. And they're going to be like given the option to be taken off before week 1 happens, which is what apparently the Jets are going to do with Breece Hall. So he should be good to go week 1.
Yeah.
And therefore our rankings stay the same with him in theory.
Perfect. I did hear that there's a chance Dalvin Cook shows up in the New York Jets, and that could create a little bit of something. Nice little dual tandem going there. It would make fantasy messy, but be nice for the Jets.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Like, I can't lie, I really don't want that to happen for fantasy purposes. But watching the games, man, that would be pretty fun to see Dalvin Cook, Breece Hall, Aaron Rodgers, and Garrett Wilson tearing it up.
Right.
That would be fun to watch.
Arsenal guys.
Yeah. Okay. Well, think we'll go ahead and jump on in here to the tight ends. I'm pretty sure we are in full 100% agreement of having Travis Kelce number one.
Yeah, 100%. Anybody that doesn't have him number one is, I don't know what's wrong with them. They're on some sort of something somewhere. But yeah, Travis Kelce, man, he is just by far and away the best tight end on the list. I think he had 150 something targets last year and caught 120 of them.
I think he got 110, but either way,
I mean,
it's the career high in catches last season for him.
He's essentially operating as the Chiefs' wide receiver one, and you need to treat him as such. And even filtering into like wide receiver rankings, he would rank top 5 in our wide receiver ranking.
That's the thing. Like, I mean, yes, he's a tight end, but when it comes to Travis Kelce, when you're looking about spending your first round draft pick on him, because that's what it is. I mean, if you're getting him on your team, you're foregoing getting a running back or a receiver. But I mean, you have to forget that he's a tight end in that moment and just think about pure points. You know, what do you have? He averaged 18.6 fantasy points a game last year.
Wow.
Second was 13.4 with George Kittle. So I mean, the gap there is massive. It's 100 points that he scored more than the second guy on the season for
That's
PPR
crazy.
fantasy.
I mean, that's just Travis Kelce in a bottle for you. He's going to do it for you year in and year out. And he's Patrick Mahomes' go-to.
Yeah, Tyreek's gone.
Best thrower, that we've ever seen outside of our big 5 guys, our big 4 guys.
I mean, but he's like,
He's
we're
there.
being honest with ourselves. He's honestly better than everybody we've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, the way he improvises and plays the game, he's arguably better than Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, all those guys.
They're just playing the position and then paired with a guy like Travis Kelce who knows his quarterback so well, who knows that.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, I really want to. I wish we could ever know the percentage of plays for the Chiefs that like it's just random. Like I know they call a play in the huddle, but once the play starts going out there and coverage isn't what they thought it was, and it breaks down, there's always Travis Kelce standing there with his arms wide open because he read the defense and he found the gap and he's standing there. And then Mahomes does some crazy no-look thing and gets him the ball. But then Kelce, dude, he's there. He's the most reliable player on the Chiefs. I mean, shit, he really might be like one of the most reliable receivers, period. Like even like top 1 or 2 as far as just getting open on broken plays.
Oh, he's insane. I always imagine his route tree like in Madden, and you get the solid line that goes up straight off the edge of the offensive line, and then you get the nice little hashed blinking line going off in every single direction.
Oh, the receiver option route?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just imagine the option in every single possible direction on the field. Every single route you can possibly run. He can do it all.
He's so good. Man, I mean, shit. Okay, so the last 6 of the last 7 years, he's led all tight end. He's been the number 1 tight end in fantasy. So, I mean, that's really all anyone has to know.
Yeah.
He has 7 years in a row of 1,000 yards.
And he showed nothing but that he's getting better and he's catching more touchdowns and more balls.
And to make everything better, he's never missed a single game in his career due to injury.
It's awesome.
I think he did miss one 2 years ago during COVID because the whole team got COVID. But I mean,
it just is what it is. You can't count that.
No, I mean, think about all the great tight ends that we've seen at play and everything. Like Gronk, for instance. Tough as hell, but every tight end we've ever seen that's good misses time for injury. The only one I can think of that was as durable like this is Jason Witten.
Yeah, but even Jason Witten had his days.
I think he missed 1 game for the Cowboys. Like in all that time. Or
maybe in the bulk of it. At the end, he started missing.
In the Raiders, he missed time. Maybe that last season he did.
Yeah.
I think he missed like 3 games his last season, actually.
I think so.
But yeah, I mean, like they're few and far between because they're in the trenches. Every time they aren't running out, Travis Kelce's over there blocking.
Yeah, they're getting ate up.
Yeah. I don't know. Sorry, we're rolling on Travis Kelce. I can talk about him all
A
day.
whole segment on Travis Kelce. But after Travis Kelce is where it starts to get interesting.
Yeah.
This is where the rankings really start.
So yeah, by the way, like I have him tier 1, and that's it.
By himself.
Yeah, he is the tier 1.
Yeah.
No one's in that level.
So let's hit our tier 2 now, just like that.
Okay.
I put a lot of thought into my 2 and 3 spot, and kind of swapped them around a little bit. And I see TJ Hawkinson being the number 2 tight end this year by a pretty good distance. You know, I know that the Vikings have Justin Jefferson and new homeboy out of USC, Jordan Addison. But that's not going to do anything in the way of TJ Hawkinson. He showed up last year with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, who are both guys that eat targets on that team. And he got 140 targets last year, which was only comparable to Travis Kelce. So I find it extremely, extremely most likely that he falls at the very top of that tier 2 and the number 2 position and finishes within, you know, a piss distance of Travis Kelce this year. Actually makes it a little bit interesting for another tight end that's not named Travis Kelce.
I agree with 99% of everything you just said, except for him finishing within a piss distance of Travis Kelce. I think he'll still finish 50 points back of him total on the year, which is a lot. But in the grand scheme, I mean, you know,
well, last year I think he was 100 points.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I have TJ Hawkinson number 2 as well, and I agree that I think he's going to be ahead of the number 3 tight end by a solid margin. This is the dude you want in the second round if you're going to draft a tight end, third round even. If he falls to the third round and you're looking at, you know, wide receiver 2 or running back 2, I would strongly consider drafting TJ Hawkinson because, dude, he is good. We knew how good he was coming out of was it Iowa? And I mean, he was an early draft pick. You know, was he number 7 overall?
Yeah, 6 or 7.
Early, you know, with the Lions. And they just couldn't figure out exactly the best way to use him, I feel like. He did deal with a few injuries and stuff early on those first couple years there. But we all knew how talented he was.
Definitely.
And I mean, he showed it some with Detroit. No, don't get me wrong. But when he went to Minnesota last year, I think he was 6.1 targets a game in Detroit. He went to Minnesota and started getting like 8.6, like another 2.5 extra targets every single game.
Yeah,
that's huge. I don't know. I'm excited. And you said Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson being there.
I think it just opens the field up more for him. That middle of the field is going to be so wide open.
They drafted Jordan Addison to make it better for Hawkinson. I know that wasn't their exact theory for drafting him, I'm sure, but like fantasy-wise,
that's what it's going to do.
Yeah,
it's going to be great. People are really going to feast off of touchdowns and catches out of TJ Hawkinson.
And he really didn't even have that many touchdowns last year. I can't recall exactly how many he had. Oh, we got it pulled up right here. He had 6 touchdowns last year.
And I mean, that doesn't even show in comparison with the targets.
Hell no.
He had multiple targets that just flew by him just by way of Kirk Cousins being Kirk Cousins sometimes. Sometimes he skies some balls in the way of guys that should be right to him.
My dude Kirk gets a little excited sometimes.
And I mean, I think I saw 3 touchdowns last year where Kirk got so excited he just chucked the ball straight ass over his head. And I mean, it happens, but they're going to connect more on a regular basis this year. And it's going to be nice to see. It's going to produce on our fantasy field, and that's going to give you somebody that's going to give you a lot of confidence in your tight end spot.
Yeah, and, you know, as I touched on in our last video too, don't forget, and the one before that, don't forget how much the Vikings love to throw the ball.
Kirk will put it up 50 times, and he won't think twice.
Shit, 60, 70 times not thinking twice.
But he had a
offensive coordinator doesn't
65 throw
care.
game last year, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he had 2 over 60, 3 over 60 maybe. He also, I mean, a couple of those were probably
What a
overtime
dog.
games, but man, they're fun to watch play for sure, and there's just targets to go around. I don't care how many receivers they draft. There's targets to go around in that offense.
Yeah, there's targets to go all over that offense. It's going to be fun. They're going to finish as a top offense this year.
Yeah, just like last year. I mean, of course, they lost to the Giants in the playoffs in the first round. You know what I mean? Of course they did.
It's classic Giants. And
it's classic
Vikings.
Vikings. Yeah, it is classic Giants though to come out of nowhere.
Yeah. They always do that.
But yeah, like I mean, I don't know. I kind of have like some deep like subconscious love for the Vikings for no reason. I always have liked them, and like I always find myself rooting for them. It hurt last year watching the Giants beat them after that season they had. I mean, what did they start like 8-1, 9-1 or something?
They started really good and then just
They beat the
started
Bills
falling off.
in that crazy game. That was
Yeah.
the best game of the year last year.
That was an awesome
And then the next week, the Cowboys beat the living shit out of them,
game.
like 40-3. And that was like, but then the Vikings bounced back and kept winning games.
Yep.
And
They never get knocked down. That's one thing I can say about the Vikings.
yeah, I just love Kirk Cousins, man.
Yeah.
That's my dude.
And he's a good quarterback. Good quarterback to have.
I have also in tier 2 Mark Andrews as my 3rd overall.
That's who I have 3 as well.
Okay.
Mark Andrews, I think we both can agree, had what we would consider a down year compared to what we can expect from Mark Andrews normally. He had a lot of targets, 113 targets, but only 73 catches on those targets. I'm used to Mark Andrews being more of a high completion percentage player. He's going to get a lot of targets, but he usually completes a lot of those passes. There were a lot where I think Lamar was really forcing it to him last year because he didn't have a lot of other supporting options. But going into this year with the addition of Odell, Rashad Bateman should be healthy going into the season, I believe. If he's not,
They said yesterday that yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so that makes it even better. Those 2 guys will spread the field for him. And I know Rashad Bateman's excited to show what he's got to show. Ever since coming out of Central Michigan, he's done nothing but be a bust. And
last year when he was healthy, he was going hard.
he had a couple games.
Well, okay.
And then after that, he was hurt. And they didn't use him right.
He got hurt. I think it was his foot. He missed like 8 weeks or something.
Yeah. And that just ruins your season, But regardless, those 2 guys are going to spread the field out for him. I think they added one more guy too. And that's without
Marquise
mentioning
Brown.
Yeah. No. Marquise Brown is in Arizona.
Yeah, I'm tripping. I feel like, I don't know why I thought he went from Arizona to the Ravens, not from the Ravens to the Cardinals. Okay.
You're all good. But that goes without mentioning a guy that I liked a lot watching last year, and that's the tight end on the other side, Isaiah Likely.
I forgot
He
about
was super athletic and played really good in those couple of games that Mark Andrews missed last year.
him. Mm-hmm.
I think that's also going to help in spacing the field.
2 guidance sets.
Yeah, get Mark Andrews more out into the space, leaves Likely on the line, put him in some blocking sets, some dual tight end sets that allow Mark Andrews to break off the line, or vice versa.
And with the Ravens offense running 2 tight end sets, every team's probably just going to like automatically assume it's a run.
Yeah, anybody running behind that.
Yeah. So going back to what you said, though, the only thing to add on to what you said is that his completion percentage or his catch percentage, whatever, it wasn't Lamar, though, for so much of the year. It was Tyler Huntley throwing the ball, and that made such a big difference. I mean, he caught 5 touchdowns in the first, I think, 7 games that he played, all of which I believe Lamar was playing. Maybe not the last game, but
I don't think
majority of those.
Yeah, majority of those games.
The last 9 games, he had 0 touchdowns.
Yeah. And I will say that's in part due to an injury that Mark Andrews had last year. He messed his shoulder up in week 5, I think.
Yeah,
and then missed the week or played the week after, missed the next week,
and then played the rest of the year.
Yes. And that he never fully healed. And that was very clear. So that's something that also plays into his favor this year is better health.
I mean, lock him in as a top 5 tight end.
For sure.
I mean, I think last year was just a true like anomaly, outlier, bleep on the radar as far as what the Ravens are as a whole and every single fantasy output for all of their players on that team. Everyone on their offense just had a terrible season.
Yeah.
Riddled with injuries and just shit.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole team was hurt. So no one could really succeed, even the guys that were healthy.
Right. Yeah, it just happens.
But yeah, I just think the whole Ravens will be better. There's no possible way in my head if he plays every game or even 16 of the 17 games, there's no possible way in my head that he's not a top 5 tight end.
Yeah. No way. I don't ever see him falling outside of that top 5 as long as he's healthy and he's generally young.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great guy to target with that tight end spot. And somebody maybe you can get a little bit lower this year in like the fifth round area just because people might not be so high. They may see some prospects of some guys that we got lower that did a little better last year and want to take them a little higher.
That's the hope. I mean, I will say, though, like these top 3 guys, specifically Hawkinson and Andrews, I feel like they have the best week-to-week floor of anyone else we're about to talk about.
For sure.
And, some guys probably do have better weekly upside, like Kittle, for instance, who is actually next on my list at 4. But week to week, if I don't have Travis Kelce, Hawkinson and Andrews are the 2 guys that I want just to provide because they're probably going to get 10 to 18 points. I can count on that out of those 2 guys, like a minimum of 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
And having that, knowing that out of your tight end position, you're no matter what, I'm getting 10 points this week. That feels damn good.
Yeah. Just a sense of security.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
So number 4, who would you say you had it for?
I have Kittle. And it's still in my tier 2.
All right. Yeah, I'm still on my tier 2 up till about my tight end 9.
Oh, wow. Okay. This is the end of my tier 2.
Yeah, I have these chunks of guys just have a ton of potential for yards, catches, and just high upside. My number 4 is Darren Waller.
Damn, okay.
So, a guy that changes some scenery, I think it could bode well for him. But let's touch on Kittle first. I've got him just a couple spots down at 7.
Okay, yeah. See, you're way lower on him than me and consensus. But as you were saying, you thought he lost a step.
Yeah, I mean, he still produced those games last year where he was that guy. But he had a few games where he really popped off. And that played a part into his fantasy points average, was getting those big games. And he had a lot of shit games in there.
Right. No, you're right. You're 100% right. Like the down games are down with him.
And that's what woes me the most on him this year were those down games. And mixed with, I guess Purdy did just get cleared for football activity. But I don't know. His health concerns me. He just has a little bit of everything that kind of concerns me. Health, quarterback situation, and he's surrounded by other players, but that usually helps. So those 2 things are what kills me this year on him.
So yeah, you were talking about
just my couple of worries with
the quarterback,
George Kittle. His health has been an issue the past couple of years. And the quarterback situation is confusing to me. There's going to be a lot of competition in camp. And there might be a lot of back and forth that we don't know about, But those are 2 young guys that are going at it. And a lot of shit can change in the second year for a guy. Second year is make or break for a lot of people. A lot of quarterbacks especially.
Mm-hmm.
And, if one messes up and the next guy steps up, that could mess that other guy up. for the rest of his career. And it could mess that offense up too.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I don't think that offense is completely mess upable, if that makes sense. Kyle Shanahan will make sure that like they're competitive still. I know they aren't the best offense in the world. They have everyone they need to be the best offense in the world. But there's no way Kyle Shanahan's going to let that team be uncompetitive.
No.
There's no way. And with that being said, the two people they'll rely on to do that is Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle. That's what I think. I mean, last year he had the second worst yards per game in his whole career, which sucks. But he had the most touchdowns he's ever had. He had the most touchdowns that he's ever had before. I don't necessarily think he's going to repeat the exact same amount of touchdowns. He had 12. No. Excuse me. He had 11. He had 11 touchdowns last year. But I mean, the 49ers are going to keep relying on him. He's George Kittle. He's a damn good tight end. I mean, honestly, if you go ask around, like, the NFL players around the league and stuff, most of them actually say that he's the best tight end in the league all around. Yeah. He's a way better blocker than Kelsey is.
Yeah.
That doesn't equate to fantasy points, but the 49ers rely on him for every play, basically. They rely on him blocking, they rely on him running good routes, keeping people like defensive players occupied while Debo or Ayuk or McCaffrey does something with the ball, or just getting open and catching it, or even not getting open and still catching that shit. Because he's damn good at that. He has such good hands.
Reaches that shit up and catches. I always remember the one he caught between his legs. That one was sick.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I mean, he's fun to watch play. He's a great football player. I share some of the same concerns that you do, just clearly not as much.
I
don't know. His yards a game is going to go up. It will. I mean, what did he have last year? He had 10 yards a catch. I don't see the per game, but he only had 914 yards on the season. And I know he missed some time, too, with injuries. So, 914 yards.
He had 765 yards on the season. Correct.
Oh, excuse me. I was reading Hawkinson's stat. Yeah, see, draft Hawkinson. But yeah, I don't know. There's a chance he falls outside the top 5 tight ends at the end of the year. But at the end of the day, I can't rank him outside of the top 5. Because, as we go down the list, y'all will see there's no one in the same, name group. There's no one whose name that we're about to say for the rest of this video carries the same weight that George Kittle's does. I just can't drop him out of the top 5 right now anyways. If he has another down season, then I'll come back and reconsider next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely understand that.
Darren Waller,
4. Yeah, I see high things for Darren Waller. He was a guy that had some injury concerns last year, missed a lot of time. But when he played, he was really good. And he's always been really good when he plays. Going to New York, at a place where they don't have a lot of support in their wide receiver group, I see him being a huge safety net for Daniel Jones. I see a lot of catches per game. I see a lot of yards because he's fast, he's big, and I see way more touchdowns than he produced last year.
Yeah, he's efficient when he has the ball in his hands. He's damn good. There's no denying how good he is once he has the ball in his hands and he's in the open field, or not even in the open field. Just once he's the ball carrier, he is hard.
Yeah,
but I'm just worried, bro. Every year he has a major injury. It seems like.
Right.
I mean, weeks, months he misses every season.
Yeah,
I have him at 8. He's in my tier 4. I have him down at 8, but everything you said, I agree with. He's the most talented pass catcher that the Giants have. Him and Saquon.
Yeah.
I see one of them too, honestly, leading that team in targets, assuming they're both healthy all year. I don't know, man. He's good. He is so good, but he's 30, I think.
He is 30 on the head.
He's about to be 31.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself isn't that bad of a thing, I guess. But he is getting older, and it's just the injuries that happen every year.
Right.
That's the only reason I have him as low as I do. I'm not drafting him strictly off the fact that, like, I know I'm going to be scrambling at some point during the year to go find someone else to play.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping a little bit of a better injury staff in New York. Oakland's injury staff is ball sack compared to the Jets. The Giants. My bad. The Giants have a really good injury staff. They usually do a good job of getting guys back on the field in good health. And
Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney is just an idiot, but he's going to do darn good with the Chiefs.
Yeah. Sure.
I see that injury staff helping out Waller a lot. They're going to put him in situations to succeed and not be getting hurt all the time. Their other tight end, too, that they have, Daniel Bellinger, is also really good. And he's more of that blocking style of tight end. And I see that taking a lot of pressure off of the blocking that Waller used to have to do in Oakland. He was doing a lot of blocking in Oakland.
Yeah, he was. And to be honest with you, like, that's not what he's good at. He's not bad at blocking.
Don't
get me wrong.
It's just not what he's built for.
No, he's an explosive pass guy. He reminds me of, he's like Kyle Pitts.
That's exactly what he reminds me of.
Yeah.
He's Kyle Pitts, just without the Kyle Pitts hype,
Yeah. Instead, he's just like a alcoholic dude.
Yeah.
Happened to be in the NFL.
Ex-alcoholic. And made his way back.
He is a really cool story.
He is. It's an awesome story.
But yeah, I mean, we're talking about him before we're talking about Kyle Pitts right now. So
yeah.
Where's the hype?
I see another thing is, like, compared to Kittle, Darren Waller, I see less quality players around Darren Waller than I do around Kittle, which is going to call for less targets to them. Everything I see so much is going just straight volume through Darren Waller.
Just volume, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I'm with you on that. I mean, 1,000%, bro. The Niners are way more talented than the Giants on offense.
For sure.
I mean, they have Debo and Ayuk spreading the field, Kittle in the middle, and McCaffrey in the backfield. Like, come on,
insane,
bro.
Man. It's insane. Honestly insane. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to say on Waller, but I just see immense upside for him.
Okay, yeah, like, if healthy, like I said, the reason I have him at 8 is because of his health. If Darren Waller plays every single game this year, there's no reason he won't be a top 3 or 4 tight end.
100%.
And, like, I feel like some people make their rankings on the just, the standard of, like, the assumption that everyone will be healthy the whole time. Like, the rankings are made, like, if they play 100% of the games.
Yeah.
I can't do that with my rankings because it's just, like, the back of my head.
Shot,
Yeah. I mean, this is football. Like, injuries are a major part of the game.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
Number 5.
That was the end of my tier 2. So 5 is jumping into the beginning of my tier 3.
All right, number 5, Kyle Pitts. We both got him here. Somebody that I think has the most boom potential in the entire league as far as upside and putting it all together this year. Last year, he was dealing with those injuries, and I just don't really see it as a woe, It's more of, when's he, is he going to step on the field healthy from last year type of thing. I don't see injuries as a progressive issue. My only woe is stepping healthy from last year.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. It was an MCL injury, so it wasn't as bad as an ACL. He had so much time to recover from it. I think he's pretty much going to be full go come week 1. And, to put it lightly, he sucked last year as far as where people were drafting him and the output they got from him.
For sure.
He had 2 touchdowns with 350 yards on the whole year.
The Falcons were a dumpster fire. I know they expected a lot more out of Marcus Mariota, which they did not get anything from.
Mm-mm.
But they're going all in with Desmond Ridder this year. I like it.
Heineke.
But yes, I'm a Heineke fan. But I like that they're giving Desmond Ridder the shot to go all in this year. Ultimately, I don't think it's going to work out and go Heineke. I think he's going to bring some nice stabilization on that offense. They're probably going to run him for the next 2 or 3 years and draft somebody either this year or next, depending on
where they fall in the draft.
And yeah. If Heineke comes in and starts leading them to some okay seasons where they're 2 wins above 500, getting into a wild card spot, that's fine.
They'll roll with that in Atlanta.
Oh, 100%, because Atlanta is notorious for making shit go off of those low standing spots.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it. Heineke fits that mold.
Yeah, and I think either quarterback, particularly Heineke, though, will be good for Kyle Pitts. But it really doesn't matter because they have nobody. It is Kyle Pitts. Like, he is the offense. Him and Bijan Robinson are going to carry that team.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
It's going to be extremely potent for those two.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's 350 yards and 2 touchdowns. There's no possible way that he replicates that again. He'll probably get like 700 or 800 yards, hopefully like 1,100. Like, hopefully.
Yeah.
And then hopefully like 8 touchdowns. But I'd be cool with 6.
For sure.
And he's going to get like 100 catches.
Yeah. I would love to see just solid production. Somebody that you can depend on week to week.
That's what we want from him.
It's what we want. The only thing that hampers him is the team situation and maybe a little bit of the injury woe. But other than that, that's it.
I think the team situation honestly helps him. The only thing it hurts with is potential touchdowns, just red zone opportunity. But I mean, shit.
Like, it's just like if you had a team around him, imagine what he could be.
I get it. I think he's
insane.
Like, he had 1,000 yards his rookie year, which was like the first tight end ever, or the first in a really, really long time to do that. But he should surpass that again this year. I don't know. I have him 5 because I'm not really sure why. He could be 2.
Yeah.
And in theory, this is the only dude that has any chance of passing Kelsey in my mind. But he won't because Kelsey's on the Chiefs.
Yeah, he's got Mahomes.
If
Kyle Pitts had Mahomes.
Oh, my God.
We won't even speak into it because it's never going to happen.
No. But, I see basically no downside in drafting Kyle Pitts. And with that injury from last year, with that down year, everyone's just going to look at the stats and see, oh, wow, he did terrible last year. Nah, he's going to drop in the drafts. And this is probably the best year of his whole career that we're ever going to get to draft Kyle Pitts.
Definitely. And, I won't even feel bad drafting him high. And people are like, why are you drafting him like that? 6, 7 round target for me coming out of the draft. Some guys may not want to take him that early.
Yeah, just scared from last year. And he's a tight end.
Yeah, and value on tight ends just falls. But I would be plenty happy taking him 6th round, 7th round.
And by the way, we're talking in a 10-man league, not 12. Yes. So this is probably like later 5th to middle of 6th round in a 12-man.
Mm-hmm. And I'm cool with that. That's somebody I feel like is going to give you a very high upside as well as a fairly stable floor. Obviously, Atlanta's going to have a couple games where they're just shit.
Yeah, they will probably have a few weeks where he does nothing.
But I never see it lower than exactly a 4-catch, 40-some yard game where he just didn't catch the touchdown.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that was shit. Every other week is going to be yards, touchdown. It's going to be nice. You're going to be getting solid wide receiver 1.5 to 2 numbers.
Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't be getting 8 to 10 targets a game.
There's no reason why he shouldn't.
Or even more. Dude, if he gets 12 targets a game, it's over.
He should be eating a wide receiver share of the targets in Atlanta. He should be doing similar to what DJ Moore was doing last year in Carolina, where he was eating 23% of those targets.
Yes.
And Just it has to be that way.
Yeah. No, I mean, and they run the ball a lot, but that it's the NFL. They pass the football.
Yep.
He's gonna be the guy when they pass.
The passing league.
Yep. All right.
6.
I got Dallas Goedert right here in my tier 3.
Got Dallas Goedert
at
6 as well.
Okay.
Still on my tier 2. Dallas Goedert.
Man, he's probably, stat wise, the last couple of years, or last year specifically, he was the most efficient tight end in the league.
He's been extremely consistent. And that's what I expect more of this year. And going into another year, obviously more comfortable, better chemistry. That offense has done nothing but get better. So Dallas Goedert is just going to be that nice touchdown floor in the game. He may only catch you 2 or 3 balls, but 2 or 3 balls, 20 yards, and a touchdown is still going to give you 10 points, and you're going to be happy.
Yeah, and but last season, I think Travis Kelce averaged 12 yards a catch. Dallas Goedert averaged 12.8 yards a catch.
Nice.
He was the most efficient guy in the league. And, the Eagles like to run the ball a lot, and they have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So Dallas Goedert is definitely not the dude like some of these other guys we were just talking about in Philly. But he doesn't have the target share, which sucks. But, this is tight end, so he's still in the top 6.
Right.
He's just, when he does get the ball, though, damn, he is good. And that's why he's here on my list. I will say that he's only ever 5 touchdowns. He's never gotten more than 5 touchdowns in his whole career. I think this is the year he does.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 7 touchdowns. Not, nothing crazy, because once the Eagles get down within 5 yards, they just run the ball.
Yeah.
They don't mess around with the big guys getting open in the back of the end zone very much like the other teams seem to do.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just 2 quarterback sneaks and 2 handoffs, see what happens basically once they get down to the goal line.
Yeah.
But I don't really see a reason why he could finish any worse than he did last year. The Eagles got better as a team, and they're just solid. The Eagles are just a solid football team, and he's part of the reason that they're so solid.
Yes.
He's not the guy, but he's a very large gear in their system.
Definitely. He's a great blocker, too, so he's on the field all the time. He's going to give you potential all the time. He's an easy guy to go into, He's just the definition of consistency and efficiency shoved into a tight end that's not named Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I wish he was a little more consistent, though, because it's just the Eagles. He just doesn't have the target share, because there'll be games where he straight up gets 2 targets.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't catch
it's
them,
just a product of games, bro.
Yeah. I don't recommend drafting him high by any means at all. But, when it comes down and you basically have your whole roster built out, and if Dallas Goedert's still sitting there, then absolutely snag him before you start drafting bench players that are, that you don't plan on using in the immediate future.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
It's because once you get past these next people, like guy or two, it is, it's a real toss up as to what the production you're going to be getting is. Tight ends are just wildly inconsistent across the board.
Insanely inconsistent. That's why they, right here, they drop instantly. We were just talking about Kyle Pitts in the 6th, 7th round. Now we're talking 12, 13, 14, maybe.
Yeah. The difference is ADP in these guys is massive. We don't have the stat pulled up quite yet. We'll do that next week. We'll bring some ADP stats to our rankings. But now that the drafts are getting closer and they're becoming more accurate. But you're right. The difference between Kyle Pitts and Dallas Goedert round wise is a lot.
Yeah.
The draft capital you'll be spending difference on them is massive. So getting a guy like Dallas Goedert could essentially be equivalent to drafting a guy like Kyle Pitts as far as what you spend on them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kyle Pitts will far output everything, though. I think that's really that's kind of the guy this year that I'd be targeting in drafts that you don't need to go just drop a ton of draft capital on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Dallas Goedert is a solid option for your tight end one spot.
For sure.
Do we have anything else you want to touch on him with?
Not at all.
Okay. I have Evan Ingram, number 7, to close out my tier 3.
Nice. 7, I've got Kittle. We already touched on him. I don't really need to go into him anymore.
Okay.
You know what you're going to get with Kittle. Obviously, the upside's there. I'm just hampered on him due to injury and confusion with the offense.
Okay.
You said you had Evan Ingram
at
7?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got him right here at 9.
Okay.
So just a couple spots down.
And, you know, I honestly, I understand why you have him a little bit down because of Calvin Ridley coming there. I feel like that'd probably be the main reason you do have him lower than me. I definitely had that, you know, as one of my points written down. That is going to hurt because, you know, all we remember right now is how great he was with the Jags in that postseason game.
Yeah.
And, man, he was awesome that game. And he was awesome.
150 yards, right?
Yeah, something like that. Like 10 catches, 120, 50 yards, something like that, and a touchdown.
Awesome.
It was awesome against the Chargers. But, you know, I mean, all season, though. Really all season with the Jags. He was a usable tight end for the first time in his entire fantasy career.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because, what was it, like 2017 or something when he was a rookie? He came out, he had a pretty solid rookie year. You know, he went reasonably high for a rookie tight end. And then the next year, he was getting drafted like a top 3 tight end. And the year after that, getting drafted like a top 5 tight end.
Right.
It's gone slowly down each year, but I mean, shit, like he finally last year lived up to the hype that we all thought he was going to be for like the previous 4 seasons.
Yeah, Evan Ingram's sick. He's fast. Just his main issue in New York was he was dropping balls, and he really shored that up in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
That played well in his fantasy rankings last year. I mean, he finished at number 5. That's sick. Granted, he didn't break 100 points, but I'm extremely high on the Jaguars this year. And if they come out like where I'm expecting them to, not where I'm ranking him at, then he's going to finish a top 5 tight end on the list just because of how awesome that offense is going to be this year. I mean, if that offense is going, that's somebody that can be getting 4 or 5 catches a game, but also tacking major yards onto the end of those because he's big and he can get open.
Yeah, he's
and
pretty elusive.
Yeah, that's what they drafted him for, was the elusiveness.
I mean, he's fun
He's
to
not
watch.
there to be a blocker or anything.
Hell no.
Near that.
I mean, yeah, he's basically just a massive receiver.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he's just exciting to watch. I loved watching him play last year. I was pissed he wasn't on my team every time I watched him do something. I will say, though, he only had 4 touchdowns, and I swear he had like 20. Like, thinking back on it, I feel like every game I watched him play, he got a touchdown, but I guess
it's
not.
Because he was catching notable plays.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
And
tons of first downs and stuff.
Which is major. Just the trust that they have in him. That's going to translate this year to better stats, more catches.
I think he's going to get more than 4 touchdowns this year.
For sure. I see a couple big ones, too.
And he's only on a 1-year deal again, so.
No, he actually just
Did he re-sign?
Yeah, he signed a big contract extension for 4 years.
Okay,
He's making some good tight end money.
Good for him then.
Yeah.
I'm just glad he came to fruition finally. Because, like, I was legit under the assumption, like, coming into the last 2 years, I was like, he's a bust. You know, I am done with him. I will never have him on my roster again.
Yeah.
Like, his career is pointless. But, man, watching him come out last year and do all that, it was awesome. I'm just happy for the guy.
No, he's chilling in that tight end one, low tight end one area.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's...
I wouldn't even consider him a low tight end one.
No, he's like a mid. He's truly a mid tight end one. And I don't see any reason other than an injury that he would fall outside of that. I also don't think he has higher upside than like maybe number 3. Like, I don't think he has as much upside as like Pitts. or Kelsey.
Yeah, he's gonna fit. Like his highest upside would be in that 5 to 4 area.
Yeah, like so don't draft him thinking you're getting Travis Kelsey because you're definitely not. But I mean, shit, like where he's gonna be drafted at, he has way more upside than Dallas Goedert, to put it into terms. But I take Goddard just on the consistency that I know when he catches the ball, like he's gonna get me like 4 points on that one play.
Yeah.
3 points, whatever it is, with the catch and whatever he does afterwards. And then if he gets a touchdown, then hell yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas with Ingram, that's a huge possibility that he'll get you like 10-point plays all the time and stuff. But he can also get like 3 yard and then not get a target for like 2 quarters.
Right.
Just because of the Jags,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's no way he falls outside RB1 territory. That's basically my summary on Ingram. He's a true mid tight end 1.
Agreed. Then
I got 8 Darren Waller to start off my tier 4.
Okay. I've got Pat Freiermuth right here.
I like that.
Did you want to touch anything more on Waller than we did earlier?
Not really. He's getting a little older. More injuries. But he's going to get a lion's share of the targets in the offense. Again, when he's in the game, he's probably going to be a top 5-6 tight end week in, week out when he's healthy.
For sure.
I think year long, I have him 8. Week to week, he's like top 5 probably every week that he's playing. That's about all I have to say on him. And then you said Freiermuth at 8 for you. Are you still in tier 2 or 3?
This will be.
This is your second player in tier 3, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So Freiermuth, was he a rookie last year or was it his second year?
I believe it was his second year last year. Hang on, I have him just at 9. That was his second year. He's going into his 3rd year.
Okay, cool. He had a good year last year. Mm-hmm. I mean, 730 yards isn't no joke. That shows that you create chemistry with your quarterback and play some good football. I think he's a starting quarterback or starting tight end.
Yeah, in any league, in any fantasy league bigger than like 8 players.
Yeah.
That's a starting tight end.
I see him being a nice safety hatch for Kenny Pickett this year. Kenny Pickett seems like the type of guy that's going to like to have a tight end short out in the flat, maybe 5-10 yards out, just chilling for him. They've got 2 explosive receivers.
Freiermuth will go deep too. I mean, he's not like crazy fast or anything, but he'll still go deep and catch the ball. Like he catches the ball.
He's got hands.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about him too, is he's actually got hands. So throw him the ball and he can actually make something of it. The Steelers too this year, they're just going to be a better, more fluent, better chemistry. They know what they're doing now. It's no more a question at quarterback. It's Kenny Pickett or nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And Mike Tomlin is ready to get it going.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I just have him one spot down the list here at 9. So, like, both his rookie year and last year, he had 60 catches both years, or at least 60. I think he had, like, 68 or something last year.
And that shows you his base with a shit quarterback.
Yeah, dude. Yes, exactly. Like, he's going to catch 60 balls again, hopefully 70. And that's basically it. It's the Steelers as a whole team, just with the guys they have and stuff. He's a piece. He's just he's a large piece of their offense. I mean, not huge, but no one's huge in that offense.
Yeah,
they're all like
just a necessary piece.
Yeah, they're all young guys that are like really talented, but they're not necessarily superstars yet. And they just work really well together. Mike Tomlin's so good at that. It takes a couple of years, but guess what? It's year 3 now.
Yeah.
I mean, so he only got 2 touchdowns last year too. There's no way he does that again. He got 7 as a rookie.
Yeah, I see. Definitely an upswing.
I think he goes back to that 7. There's no reason not to. I mean, with the team is going to be better for sure. They're not going to be amazing, but I mean, some games were hard to watch last year. I don't think it's going to be like that this year.
They played some hard games, though. You know?
Yeah, no, I mean, they would be competitive because, like, they're just a team. They win as a team type thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, some of their games were like kind of like the Patriots, you know, on offense. It's like, damn, bro.
Hurts
like,
to watch.
Yeah.
Awful slow.
But yeah, I see no reason that he wouldn't be a everyday or every week starter in every football league across America, basically. Honestly, I mean, you could really flip him from my 9 to my 7 and put Goddard down here. I think he'll be more consistent than Goddard will be. Now that I'm just sitting here thinking about it, I don't know.
Yeah.
Steelers are going to be better.
I can understand it.
And he's going to be part of the reason that they're better because he's going to get better too.
Yeah. Man's playing for a contract.
Yeah. All right. Who do you have at 9?
9 is Evan Ingram.
Okay.
We just touched on him. I don't think I need to go into him anymore. Obviously, extreme upside. Catching the ball, stretching the field, and in what I believe potentially can be a very potent offense. And if it comes out anywhere near where I think it is, he's going to finish a lot higher than 9.
Yeah. No doubt.
So, 10.
I got Dalton Schultz here with the Texans.
Dalton Schultz as well.
Well, we're on fire today.
Right? We're hand in hand on these. Dalton Schultz, I mean, I don't really need to go that deep into him. Obviously, he can catch the ball. He can block. And he was very, very consistent for the Cowboys. And he's good at catching touchdowns, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, insert that into an offense with a rookie quarterback, somebody that's going to need somebody to depend on, Dalton Schultz, and a team who had, I think, Jordan Akins finished pretty high last year on
a bunch of touchdowns.
He got a bunch of touchdowns, and just insert a better tight end in there, and bang,
I'm
you're
excited.
looking nice.
The Texans excite me. You know, I think I've already said it on here before.
I just wish they didn't get rid of Brandon Cooks.
I mean,
I think that would have helped CJ Stroud out a lot. But yeah, obviously he's going to be way better on the Cowboys.
I mean, you're right. But yeah, you know, like I wrote down, like, even though he's on the Texans, I think he's in a better situation for fantasy just because of the lack of everything.
Yeah.
On the Texans. He will probably He'll probably get less touchdowns just due to lack of opportunity in the red zone compared to the Cowboys. You know, the Cowboys are always in the red zone.
Right. And there'll be some consistency woes with their young team coming up.
For sure, no doubt. But I mean, basically what I wrote down is like my hope, what I'm hoping for, which is very feasible. I want him to get 65 catches, 650 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And if he does that, he'll be like a top 7 tight end. Top 6 tight end, probably. I mean, at minimum, though, he needs to get like 55. The 65 catch thing should be pretty doable. No doubt, honestly.
Yeah.
If he's able to turn that into 10 yards a catch, that'd be amazing. But, you know, if he turns it into like 8 yards a catch, that I don't know how much that would be. Like,
it's like
that'd be like 570 yards on the year. That's not awful. I think that'd still land him in this 10-11 range.
For sure. Dalton Schultz has been very consistent for his fantasy users the past few years.
He did get hurt, though.
But it's not really a woe. It happened last year, and it didn't really happen the year before.
Yeah, he doesn't have like an injury history.
Yeah, no history there. So it's not too much of a concern for me. It's just offense on the Texans, young and coming up. And they're going to have to gain some experience together. They got him for 4 or 5 years, so he's going to learn. He's just going to get better. Next year, he's probably going to be ranked somewhere in that 5-6 area just because CJ Stroud is going to be good. Texans will be better. And fun to watch.
I don't know. Yeah, like I'm really hoping that he continues to succeed like he did on the Cowboys, and he doesn't just go to the Houston and like basically die there.
I hope not.
Yeah. But yeah, I think he'll be a true like tight end one, low end tight end one. But I really don't think he's going to dip into that tight end too often.
Yeah,
on a week to week basis.
Agreed.
All right. At 11, I'm still in my tier 4. I have David Njoku.
Nice. I didn't even put David Njoku on my list.
You just forgot about him when you made your ranking?
I don't know if I want to say I forgot about him, but I feel like some shit's gonna go down with him as it
always
does every year. That he's just not gonna make my top 20 of tight ends this year. There's some rookies and some other guys that are gonna get some opportunities that I just see getting in the way. So he didn't even touch my list.
Okay. I mean, like, bro, like full respect to that because like what has it been? Basically the same time as Evan Ingram, maybe 1 or 2 years less. That I mean, shit, this is like his 7th year or something in the league. Yeah. He's still young. He's only like 27 or something. But yeah, every year it's something with him. It's always something. I don't even know how he's still on the Cleveland Browns. Truly.
Because they always try to guarantee him they're going to use him this year and the way he's supposed to be used. But then they don't, or he gets hurt right when they were using him the right way.
See, like, this is the reason I have him on my list is because at the end of last season, he actually seemed to be decent.
Yeah.
They actually were using the right way with Deshaun Watson, and essentially the whole situation's the same. As far as the team goes this year, they just can build on what they finished the year on last year.
Yeah.
I think that Deshaun is going to finally give us what we've been waiting for in Njoku. And like, I don't know. 11 is kind of a bold rank, I guess, but consensus has him somewhere right around here too. I think he'll have career best in everything. Whether that means he's elite, you tell me or not, I don't know. But, his career best isn't necessarily that impressive in any of it. But I think this will be all around in every category the best statistical year of his career.
I want to agree with you. Like I said. But yeah, with Deshaun, based on how Deshaun's played with tight ends in the past.
And him last year at the end of the year.
It was great. He caught a couple touchdowns, didn't he? He had that one really good game.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he had 58 catches for 628 yards last season.
Athletic.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
And, but he missed games, of course, with injury. As usual. I don't know. I think he'll be better than we've ever seen him. I don't know what that's going to look like.
I'd like to think
he'll be better than.
I mean, the man looks like a complete freak athlete.
He is.
And I want to see it translate to the field the way that I think you and I believe it can.
I know. It's just hard to keep believing after, like, ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been so long. It's rare in the NFL that guys take this long and they're still on the same team they were drafted by. It's really rare.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, to be honest, he hasn't done anything. In the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That ends my tier 4. Who do you have at 11?
Got Greg Dulcich.
Nice. I have him at 12.
Nice. He's got some good value this year. Somebody that can rise up our list a ton. Last year, coming in as a rookie, he showed a lot of promise with Russell Wilson. The Broncos were clearly a shit show, and Nathaniel Hackett didn't know what the fuck he was doing. So nobody was really being used right. And bringing Sean Payton in, somebody who's got a history with tight ends down the list. Jimmy Graham. He had Taysom Hill for a year or two, right?
I mean, yeah, he's the one that came up with how to use Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I mean, the man's a genius, to put it simply.
Mm-hmm.
And after hearing him today talk about how Nathaniel Hackett was the worst person to ever fucking play head coach in the history of the NFL.
That was
It was
hilarious.
fucking awesome. It was awesome. So I see a lot of upside out of Dolchich. If he showed the upside that we saw last year and we're excited about last year, boom, insert Sean Payton equals even better. And potential to finish a hell of a lot higher than number 11 and your number 12.
Dolchich missed, I think 5 games to start the year last year. So he missed that whole time of development as a rookie. So that's gone. But it's really just experience. Second-year tight ends are historically good. Rookie tight ends are historically bad. And the second year is usually the good ones usually separate themselves in their second season, from the guys who don't. I think that this is going to be a great year for him. I think the Broncos are going to be better with Sean Payton. And when I was doing my research for this, I actually read that Sean Payton talked about using him as the Joker role, which is what Alvin Kamara is for the Saints.
Sick.
So running him out of the backfield and stuff. I doubt he'll get many carries because of his speed and size. Overall, I'm sure he will get, if he does end up doing that role, he'll definitely get some carries, which obviously more fantasy points, more touches, which is great. But more than that, decoy, blocking out of the backfield and then running routes out of the backfield.
He's a great ball catcher. He's got some sweet hands. Last year in the draft, they were talking about him having the best hands in the entire draft.
Yeah, for receivers too.
Yeah, and there's some good guys in the draft last year. So I see nothing but great things coming out of Greg Dolchich this year.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the last ranked tight end 1 here at number 12 for me. You have him at 11, obviously.
Yep.
He should be a tight end 1. Last year it was a week-to-week struggle along with the team.
Mm-hmm.
The team struggled so much, he would struggle along with them.
Yeah.
He's just a product of the situation.
Awful offense.
Yeah, so this year I think he's going to be a product of the situation again, and it's going to be a positive thing.
Yep.
I'm excited about him. He could finish way higher than this. But for now, I feel like 12 is a pretty safe place to rank him at. You're going to get him really cheap in your drafts.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't ideally love to have him as my starting tight end to begin the season. I think as the season goes on, I'll get more confidence in that.
Yeah.
I would like to have him as my first guy on the bench for tight ends. But, that's obviously not an option.
Yeah.
You could do that. I mean,
it depends on how other people see him. He could obviously fall further than this. If he goes 11 or 12, he's not going to be there when you're wrapping around and picking your tight end too.
If you pick one early, kind of, another good strategy that
the double tight end.
Yeah, I always attempt to do this. I don't always execute, but I like to do that double tight end thing. If you miss out on Travis Kelce or one of those top guys, in rounds 6 to 12, grab 2 tight ends that you feel confident in, or maybe not confident, but that both have upside and will be good matchup players, and then just go all year long swapping them out, or until one of them solidifies himself as the better guy.
Yeah. Shout out to one of our buddies that plays in the game with us, Caleb, who usually deploys the solid 2 tight end strategy. I think Logan's done it a couple times too in our league. Last year, Caleb had Kyle Pitts and TJ Hawkinson. And what an insane combo of guys to have. Obviously, it didn't play out because Kyle Pitts sucked to begin the year. TJ Hawkinson sucked to begin the year. But then TJ Hawkinson started to roll around, and then he got traded, and it played out really good for him. So he ended up having a really good guy to end his team, and he made the playoffs for the first time in 11 years.
Yeah, and we're talking about he drafted them too early too.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is even later than that. What he did is basically he was flexing them sometimes. I mean, there was some weeks he would play both.
Tight end and flex.
Yeah, so I mean, that's not a bad strategy at all. I've never done that to that degree, but I was thinking more of along the lines of grab the tight end 10 and the tight end 12,
and
then roll with them. So that way your whole other roster is stacked out on receivers and running backs, and you have a good quarterback and everything and depth at all your other positions at that point.
Yeah.
When you go and you get your 2 tight ends, and then you just let them roll. And then you have depth to make trades and stuff throughout the year if neither of them play out. And with tight end, there's always a waiver wire.
Always. There's always somebody else.
Yeah.
All right. Who'd you have at 11?
I had Njoku. We already talked about
Okay.
him. And then I had Dulcich 12. So who was your 12?
So 12, I've got Cole Kmet.
Nice.
I'm super excited about Cole Kmet. He's on my list of somebody that's technically a starter, that 12 spot. But he's a sleeper for me,
Yeah, he still doesn't have the hype.
He doesn't have the hype. And Cole Kmet was sick last year to end the year. He was putting up a ton of points, and that amount of points being added to everybody's game, 10 to 15 points a game being added onto your squad is going to catch you dubs.
Oh, 100%.
And that's what we were getting last year out of those last few games when Justin Fields finally settled down. Cole Kmet looked like a badass. And I see Cole Kmet being more of a factor than Chase Claypool, but not more than DJ Moore. So I see him essentially running out there as their wide receiver 2 in an offense where Justin Fields is going to be moving a lot. Cole Kmet's going to be out there moving. He's an athletic tight end that was drafted as such. He's also good at blocking the ball, and he's going to be on the field at all times. He's not a shift in, shift out kind of guy.
Yeah, okay. So I have him down a little bit at 15, but he's still in my tier 5 with, along with Dulcich at 12. I'm excited about him. Last year, he led the Bears in targets, catches, yards, and touchdowns.
Badass. 7 touchdowns.
7 touchdowns, 50 catches for 544 yards on 69 targets.
Look at the efficiency.
Yeah, that's solid. I expect him to lead the team, be second in all of those categories this year to DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm.
He might catch the same amount of touchdowns as DJ Moore.
Yeah.
He might tie for first on that. I really hope they do because I want DJ Moore to get touchdowns. That's been an issue with him forever, I feel like.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to tight end. I love Cole Kmet. I love the Bears, where the trajectory that they're on.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Fields is definitely going the right direction, and Cole Kmet is a big part of that. I mean, he was definitely relied upon all the way down the stretch last year, and that was pretty much it. I mean, he was the guy for Justin Fields going down the stretch when Justin Fields himself got good last season. I'm excited about him.
No, it's a chemistry connection.
Yeah, and guys, again, like down here at this point in the list, these guys are pretty interchangeable. I feel like I do have 3 people in between where you and I have him, but he could jump up to that spot no problem
for sure
by the end of the season.
Yeah, Cole Kmet is, if you're talking about those 2 tight end strategy where you want to draft another guy high and another guy a little lower.
Yeah, Cole Kmet's
This
a great guy.
I am nailing down as my second guy.
I really like that as if you're going to do that strategy because he has
so much potential in that offense, especially coming out and being that second biggest playmaker on the offense, unless one of the running backs pops out of there. But I foresee that just jumble back and forth all year.
No, but in the passing department,
he's going to be number 2.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm with that. I think he's going to have another good season. Just continue to grow. Is this season 3 for him or season 4? I think it's season 3.
3.
Yeah. Okay. You have anything else you want to say on him?
No.
Move on.
Super excited. And Bears are going to be fun. Justin Fields is going to be fun.
They are fun. All right. Well, I have Gerald Everett at my 13.
Nice. Okay, I got Gerald Everett down at 15.
Okay.
Just a little lower. My 13 is Dalton Kincaid.
Damn. Okay.
I have him up there just because of that Bills offense. I think he's going to bring some stability to the tight end position on that offense. But let's tap into Gerald Everett.
Okay. Honestly, throughout his career, he's never really been just like amazing at all. On the Rams, he was kind of meh.
Yeah.
But last year was definitely the best season that he's ever had. It was really fun watching him play. The Chargers offense is so potent and spread
Yeah.
that he kind of comes out of nowhere. Like, I feel like it's when you're not expecting him to get a play, he goes out there and gets a big ass play for the Chargers. And that's perfect for a guy in this range of tight ends.
Definitely.
Some people were starting him. A lot of leagues, I'm sure people were starting him last year. And he only had 4 touchdowns, which, again, kind of like what we were saying earlier, like I feel like I remember having way more than 4 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they were all just big touchdowns.
Yeah, big moments, good catches, memorable.
Which means he's reliable in the red zone, which means Justin Herbert trusts him in the red zone.
Yeah, I mean, look at the targets last year. He had 87 of them suckers.
Yeah.
Granted, he only caught 50-something of them.
58.
But, yeah,
that's better.
It's to be shown that the volume is there even in such a crowded offense. I know they added a few, like they added Quentin Johnson to the mix, but I
don't care.
That offense, if it just keeps going and Herbert keeps passing the ball 40-some times a game, 50-some times a game, he's going to get his catches, he's going to get his passes, he's going to have his opportunities to do it.
Yeah. And he turned those 58 catches into 555 yards.
Yeah.
So that's just under 10 yards. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's very replicable.
Definitely.
He can do that again, no problem. That's not crazy stat or anything. And I basically expect him to repeat last year with more touchdowns.
Agreed. I didn't mention this at the beginning of the show, but I feel like this year in particular is going to be a very good year for tight ends. Or we're used to them being kind of eh.
The last 4 or 5 years has been down.
It's been, yeah. This year, though, I feel like these guys, when we're talking down to those top 7 guys, Kittle, Goddard, Pitts, Waller, Hawkinson, Andrews, Kelsey, you're going to really you're going to notice them on your team this year. It's going to be a nice year for tight ends.
I sure hope so. It's literally been, if you don't have a top 3 guy, you might as well just not draft one for 5 rounds, 6 rounds later.
I think there was a time last year in one of my leagues I didn't even play a tight end because I didn't want him to fumble the ball or some stupid shit or get negative yards. It's like the argument, when you're up in a game.
Oh, but it's like your Monday night or something?
Yes.
Oh,
you're up in a game, but you need the points to end the season, obviously, to get some of the tiebreakers and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you play that player to get the points for that, or do you risk losing? The more specific thing they were talking about was your defense, your team defense. If you're up by 5 points going into the final night, they have nobody else playing, but you have your defense.
Do you play them for
the
your
points
for the
or
season?
Do you bench them for the win?
The dub, bro. You always take the dub. It's football. It's fantasy football, but it's still football. You go for the dub.
100%.
Fuck points, bro. If I have more wins than you, I don't give a shit about points.
That's what I'm saying. It's not much of an argument, but
I guess there is leagues though
is there.
Where the points count,
and they're so
over
tight.
The wins.
Yeah,
points, dude. When it comes down to the end of the year, if you're not last or first in most leagues, the middle pack,
you're between 20 and 25 points.
They're tight.
It's just a game. One guy, so literally one guy on your team separating you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one big game from one player that he had once.
Yeah.
Made you, yeah.
That's it.
Okay, you said your 13
But
was
we're done on Gerald Everett. Yeah.
yeah.
My 13 was Dalton Kincaid, our first rookie. So insert him into the Bills. I see nothing but good things coming from him. I'd like to, I'd like to see him finish a lot higher than 13, somewhere in the top 10 range. It's not going to be much of a difference, but it's a difference. And that makes him a starting tight end on your team, not a bench. So
Damn. Okay.
I have high expectations from him. He can't, watching him at Utah, very good tight end. Insert him into a strong Bills offense, strong line, strong receivers. What has potential to be a good backfield if James Cook comes out running like he was at the end of last year.
I think he will.
Then insert Dalton Kincaid, who is a shit ton better than that other dude they've got. I can't remember his name.
Dawson Knox.
Yeah, Dawson Knox. I like Dawson Knox.
I do too.
But take Dawson Knox and send his game times 20.
Yeah.
Essentially take the same game and times it by 20.
Yeah,
and
no,
that's
Dalton
what you're
Kincaid
getting
is
in
super
Dalton
good.
Kincaid. So just take an even better tight end and throw him in there, and that consistency that Dawson Knox was not getting.
You think Dalton will?
Should get decent consistency in that offense, in my opinion. But I just don't know. He's that rookie. We have no clue. So that's why I've got him down here and not somewhere higher, is because of that unknown rookie. Unknown.
I ranked to 21, and I have him 21. So I have him way down here. I'm just worried, rookie tight ends. That's really my only worry. It is the Bills' offense. They traded up in the first round to get him, so I know he's going to get used. I know he'll get him the ball, and I'm sure once he has the ball, he's going to be really good because there's it's the Bills' offense. Basically, anyone with the ball in their hand is going to get yards and stuff on that offense.
Right.
I'm just a little worried about Dawson Knox taking time away from him. I know he's way better than Dawson Knox is. It's just the experience and the comfortability with the team and the role and everything. It's just the tight end position. It's a really hard position for the players to jump into the NFL. Yeah. And like you said, he's from Utah. That's Pac-12 football.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big difference going to the NFL from Pac-12.
It's true. That is true.
A big difference. But, I have him down here at 21. Clearly very conservative ranking. I hope he finishes where you're talking about right now, like in that borderline tight end 1 range. Yeah. That would be awesome. I'm not sure. Because Dawson Knox is still good. And he's still on the team. I'm really excited to see is there 2 tight end sets.
Yeah.
With those 2 dudes.
That'll be good.
Leave Dawson to block and then have Kincaid run out and stuff. Or just both of them running on routes. With Stephon Diggs outside, then they'll be filthy.
Yeah. And Josh Allen likes those short passes.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll bode well for both of them.
Yeah.
Who'd you have at 13?
13 we did Gerald Everett.
Okay, 14.
I have Higbee.
Nice. Okay, I've got Higbee down the list at 19.
Okay.
I've got him down here just because the Rams are a question mark for me. Apparently they tried to trade Matthew Stafford. I can't imagine that makes him very happy.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, too, is I know Matthew Stafford's going to have some at-home stuff this year. And I know they say that doesn't always translate onto the field, but I see it translating on the field this year. Recently, they just said that his wife got cancer again. So that's not anything that plays well into playing the game.
No.
And Tyler Higbee's hope of being good is Matthew Stafford. Fuck John Wolford. I don't even think John Wolford's there anymore.
Well, he actually did better after Stafford was hurt last year.
Higbee
did. Yeah. He didn't get a touchdown for the first 14 weeks of the season, and then he got 3 in those last couple of games. And he was the 4th most used tight end in the league last season. It doesn't
The
show
usage is there.
like it doesn't necessarily show week to week, which is why I don't have him in my like 12 or 11 spot. It's because of the consistency's trash, honestly.
Garbage. And nobody knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, but it's basically for pass catchers this year going into the season. I feel like it's Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee. With with like 85% emphasis on Kupp.
Yeah.
But when it's not Kupp, it's usually Higbee, I feel like.
For sure. Higbee's one of the better pass catching tight ends in the league.
And on that team, I mean, it's it. That's it.
Yeah.
They have Cam Akers, Cooper Kupp, and Tyler Higbee.
Right.
As far as anybody that's going to actually do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nobody in particular.
They're going to be boring to watch.
Mad boring.
We'll see. Maybe Sean McVay. I don't doubt he'll come up with some cool stuff to get some dubs, but
yeah, I mean, I don't
think they're going to be in the playoffs by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I don't think so at all.
Like, even if they're healthy, I don't think they'll lose as many games as they did last year if they're all healthy. Well, they win like 4 games last season.
Yeah.
They'll probably, like, if Stafford's there, Kupp is there, they'll win like 7-8 games probably still, just off that. And their defense is still decent.
Both of those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Just offloading everybody. I don't know. Are they going to try to get rid of Aaron Donald too?
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if he just retires. I don't think he wants to play anywhere else.
Dude, he should go somewhere else and go get some rings.
He doesn't have the attitude. Oh, boy,
I know.
Fuck it.
I know.
The second McVay is done, or the second that history of the Rams is done.
Once the dynasty's done, so is he.
Yeah. 100%.
That's fair. I don't know. Like, I'm not excited about the Rams. I just feel like I have to just respect the volume on Tyler Higbee.
Yeah. For sure. He gets a lot of play. He's out on the field all the time.
Mm-hmm. Who'd you have 14?
So 14, I've got Taysom Hill. I've read that he's going to be way more involved in the game. I know last year it was Juwan Johnson, but this year they say Taysom Hill's going to be fit more into the pass catching role that he wants to be in. They're paying him a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to play him as such. And I know he wants to be played as such. So Taysom Hill I've got here at 14 because of that report. In addition, I see a couple games that he may get in at quarterback just because of the way injury carousel's gone. Derek Carr doesn't have the best injury history in the world, I don't think. So, he might spot in. And if he spots in, that's that one game of eligibility that they're going to have to leave him at. ESPN's going to have to leave him at tight end to respect before they move him.
I wonder if every single platform leaves him as that. I'm assuming they do, like Sleeper and Yahoo and everything. I want to do that. I'm going to make a league in every platform this year just to test.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually didn't rank Taysom Hill this year. I put Juwan Johnson down at 20. I wasn't even thinking about Taysom Hill when I did that. I moved him down just because I don't really trust the guy that much.
And Taysom Hill, and he always finds a way to finish top 15 on the rankings.
No, I meant I don't trust Juwan Johnson that much. I meant
okay.
No, Taysom Hill is awesome. It never crossed my mind when I was making my rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that here. He's going to get plays at quarterback, even if Derek Carr's not hurt.
Right. Yeah, just
wildcat stuff.
Yeah,
and that type of thing. No, yeah, he's definitely. He's a tight end, and if they're gonna pass him the ball this year, then hell yeah, because if he actually gets usage in the passing game, everything else is just gravy on top.
Yep, 100%.
They signed Jimmy Graham yesterday.
Yeah, I saw. That's awesome.
So I guess it'll be a 3-headed monster at tight end for the Saints this year.
Yep,
that's actually pretty sick if you think about it. Taysom Hill, Jimmy Graham, and Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, 3 good guys.
Yeah.
I like it.
I have Cole Kmet here at 15, and I'm still in my tier 5.
Nice. I've got Everett here We already touched on Everett.
And
Really need
Komet.
to go too much deeper into him.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm just excited about Komet with the Bears and the Bears getting better. But
Like I said, if you want to go get that second tight end and put an emphasis on it,
he's a great
that's your
option.
guy.
Yeah, he really is. Okay.
16. I've got, don't know how to say his first name.
Same.
But we all go by Chig Okonkwo.
Nkonkwo.
Uh,
That's who I got to.
He did good last year on a quiet Tennessee team. I didn't expect a whole lot out of him, but Tennessee's somebody that usually produces some pretty good tight ends. So I took a flyer on him last year in a couple leagues, and he ended up being my starter to close out the year. Just a all-around solid tight end, a dude that knows how to play the position. He's not necessarily going to get you points or anything on a week-to-week basis, but when he puts up those games where he's in the offensive game plan or it just caters to him, he's gonna give you those good games. Very solid 10 to somewhere in that 10 to 20 point range, depending on whether he catches
when he does go off, he goes off, I feel like.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
He had that game last year. He had 2 or 3 touchdowns. That was obviously fun to watch. I was playing him.
Oh, nice.
So it worked out just right.
He averaged 14 yards a catch last year, which is
What a boss.
insane. But the Titans.
Yeah.
And they just got DeAndre Hopkins, he's going to take away a ton of targets from everyone that had a hope of getting targets on that team.
At least the offense looks decent now.
Yeah, okay.
The line looks like shit.
The offense doesn't look decent. It looks better than it did a week ago.
I mean,
that's all.
I don't know. You put it into words, though. Tannehill. And then you got Henry in the backfield. Burks on the outside. Hop on the other side. And then you throw Nkonkwo, who's a very solid tight end.
I guess you're right.
And then who did they just sign Cole Beasley, or was that?
I missed that. I didn't know Cole Beasley signed with anybody.
Dang, he signed with somebody notable. I can't remember who it is at the moment. It may have been the Titans, though. Either way, Titans' offense doesn't look that bad on paper. And if they can stick together, like if they can put their mid-grade defense together and play some good games, the Giants.
Yeah, Beasley signed with the Giants. Nice.
Yeah, that's sick. That's good for the Giants. But what I was saying is if that Titans defense can come out and play anywhere near decent and the offense can play anywhere near mid, then it bodes for some winning games. Maybe a 9-8 record or something.
No
like
way.
that.
If that happens, I will be shocked.
I don't see them having a shit record. Like they're truly gonna be mediocre, even though they're a dumpster fire.
But yeah, like they'll still win games.
They'll still be a mid team. They're gonna win a couple games.
Yeah, like the Falcons have been, like the Cowboys were used, like in back when we used to
basically
win like 7-8 games.
Basically, what the NFC South has been for the last 10 fucking years.
Yeah, basically. Okay, I got you. I just know his talent's there. Everything else, I don't have a clue about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with him being on my roster. Other than that, like I really don't know. I don't want to rely on him at all.
Yeah,
I know that much. Okonkwo. He's got a cool name. I don't know how to say his first name though. Okay, down here at 17, I've got Mike Gesicki.
Nice.
He rounds out my tier 5.
He's a good guy. I've got Laporta for Washington right here. Nobody's really been able to stick their head out in Washington, and Laporta, solid dude. Came from Detroit, I want to say. He showed a little bit of game there up in Detroit.
I'm really not, honestly, I'm not familiar with him like at all. I know his name, like I know he's on the Commanders, but I don't remember ever watching him play before, honestly.
Yeah, I think he was backup up in Detroit.
To Hawkinson?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And even to other homeboy that they've got up there.
Well,
I thought that was fake. No shit.
What?
Sorry to interrupt. But I thought the Jalen Ramsey report earlier about him carted off the field was some bullshit. It's legit. So Jalen Ramsey's not going to be back until December.
No way.
Yeah, he tore his meniscus.
Oh, wow. Well, that team's even worse now.
R.I.P. Dolphins defense.
Bro.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
but back to Sam Laporta, not a big name.
No, not at all.
I don't have a lot to give you other than
I'm going to do
from
some
my
research.
eye, he looked good. Yeah, it's a name to look into. And
you know, I mean,
Sam Howell is going to need somebody to depend on.
Yeah, they have Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson on the outside. They definitely need a solid guy in the middle because those two guys do space the field really well.
And Redskins, they're known for playing prominently out of their tight end spot. They play a lot of tight end routes, and you remember Jordan Reed playing there? He was great.
That wasn't even that long
before
ago.
Jordan Reed. They were shoving it to tight ends. They like tight ends down there in Washington.
And the Commanders, yeah.
Yeah, let's say Redskins.
I know, bro. I still do it. It's been like 3 years now.
Right. But yeah, he's the number one guy down there. It's his first time being the number one guy. I see some separation, and maybe you can put together a top 20 tight end here.
Well, I'm gonna look into him, and I'm ready to see what he does. Because there's plenty of opportunity in Washington for someone to step up.
Yeah,
in multiple positions,
everywhere.
Okay, so I had Gesicki right here at 17. Last year with Mike McDaniels coming to the Dolphins, he just didn't use him in the passing game at all.
Fell out of favor
at all. They said that like 5 weeks before the year started, he's going to use him in blocking.
Yeah,
just whatever game plan he wanted to run, and whatever, it's fine. Now no one's thinking about him. Maybe they are kind of, but not like they were 2 years ago. Because dude, he is good. We saw how good he was 2 years ago. And now he goes back, and Bill O'Brien's his coordinator. He went to Penn State when Bill O'Brien was the coach there.
Yeah.
So they already have a relationship. The Patriots love tight ends, obviously. Yep. And he's going to be the guy for their tight ends now up there. Mac Jones is going to rely. Well, yeah, but
we'll see.
So many zigzags, bro.
Right.
They're going to be so good. I did forget about Hunter Henry in the moment when you just said that. But I think Gesicki's, honestly, I think he's better than Hunter
He's
Henry.
definitely better. For sure.
At running routes and catching passes and things.
Yeah, top rate tight end when he was in the draft class. So,
but this is not. I'm not gonna say it's Gronk and Hernandez, but it's essentially like a Belichick's attempt to recreate that. I think
they've been trying to recreate it for several years now, but I think this will finally be the time. Like nobody's really thinking about it, and it's gonna work out.
Yeah, and I don't think he's gonna be expensive at all.
No, not at all.
Like probably undrafted in most standard leagues. And I really, truly believe that he's going to be, by halfway through the year or whatever, he's going to be starting in basically every league across the country.
Yeah.
I know I have him lower than the statement I just made. It's a new situation coming off of a year of truly no usage. So there's a couple question marks and things. Honestly, though, I really believe that he's going to surpass everyone's expectations going into this.
He very well could.
I'm excited.
Yeah. 18. I've got Hayden Hurst.
Nice. I have him at 19.
All right.
I got Irv Smith.
Nice. I didn't put Irv in my top 21 because that's another dude. Just like fucking Njoku. You hear something about him every year, and then where the hell is Irv Smith? Where'd he go?
Yeah.
What he break his toe or some shit? Like, come on.
But
some random shit as to why Irv Smith can't play.
I literally, the first thing I wrote about him is like, it's another Bama tight end. It's like OJ Howard. It's supposed to be so good, high draft capital gets spent on them.
Yeah.
They come out and they don't do anything. They do nothing. Then they get hurt. They don't play. They come back, and then the team just doesn't use them. And it's year after year after year of just like not using them, just letting these high draft picks just sit there. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But now he's in Cincy, replacing Hayden Hurst actually.
Yeah.
In Cincinnati. I just think a whole, fresh start. I think it'll all be good for him.
I agree. Like, let him make the field, let him play for once.
Let him play the whole year.
Like four games his entire career he's played and actually been what you could consider healthy.
Yeah, he's always hurt.
Yeah.
Always. No,
but the upside obviously is there.
He's so talented, and I'm excited about the Bengals, assuming Burrow's all good.
Yep.
Hayden Hurst made some good plays. They didn't use him the way I was hoping they were going to use him last year, to the extent that I was hoping they were going to use Hayden Hurst. I was really high on Hayden Hurst going into last season.
Yeah.
And he was honestly a letdown from what my expectations were. He still did all right. It wasn't like he did awful.
There were a lot of people that were picking him to be their starting tight end.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out at all.
No, and I'm a little bit worried and concerned that they'll use Irv in the same way. Brady's phone just took a nosedive.
Fucking Ethan. I mean, note to the viewers. You ever meet a man named Ethan? What a fucking idiot. This man's talking about how I got no text to hang out this weekend, yet there's a giant text about 10 messages above talking about how we're all hanging out, grilling, making food, doing this. Man's got the nuts to say, I ain't got no text, Brady. I see how it is.
Was I on Irv Smith, or did we just move on?
We were talking about Hayden Hurst and how he was let down.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah.
That leads us, Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, I mean, he was just not the way that we were hoping the Bengals were going to use their tight end. Because was the guy before him?
Eifert?
Nah, Uzmaha or whatever.
Oh,
Uzama. He had some great games where it was like, just damn.
Yeah.
And
Uzama wasn't a pass catching.
No, and so when they got Hurst, I was like, if he's able to do what Uzama did in those couple of games consistently, like we have a real league winner on our hands type thing. And I kind of go into this with the same idea of Irv Smith. I'm just a little worried that the team won't use him correctly. And that's about it, really. But his talent is there. We all know his talent's there. Hopefully he's a waiver wire pickup, though, if y'all do want him on your team. I don't think you'll have to draft Irv.
No, you should not have to draft Irv. If you're drafting Irv, you're doing something wrong.
Or you're in a really, really deep league, which is fine. Okay, what did you have at 18 again?
I had Hayden Hurst at 18.
That's right.
So, now he's in a change of scenery down in Carolina. So him and Bryce Young used our tight ends at Alabama a lot. And I see this being where Hayden Hurst finally shows off his hands and makes a name for himself. I can foresee him finishing a lot higher than my 19th spot. Just because that offense is a question mark. You don't know who's going to get what. Anything can be built out of it. And I think those two will make a statement pair down there in Carolina between Bryce Young and Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, Carolina's just going to be a fun it's just going to be a new team. Everything about them is going to be new this year.
Yep.
As of now, it's a lot of unknowns, but it's exciting. I mean, Miles Sanders, Bryce Young, Hayden Hurst, the coaching staff, all of it. I think it's going to take a few weeks and stuff, but I think they'll start to mesh pretty well together as the year goes on. Yeah, I definitely foresee him being able to finish much higher than 19 at the end of the year. This is a dude that has legit top 10 upside. I'm not going to say he has top 5 upside or anything crazy like that.
It just doesn't ever go his way, like get scripted out of the game plan or
It's like the story of his whole career.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much all you can say. I mean, he gets scripted out of the game plan. I've never seen any other reason why he's not a part of the game. He's on the field. He's just not a part of the passing game.
And I don't understand why. But either way, the only downside of Carolina, I'm just a little concerned about the red zone appearances they'll have. You know, how much red zone targets he'll be able to get total. And then, just high-value touches. The team, I just don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Hopefully they come out and surprise everybody and win that division.
Right.
That would be really cool for Bryce as a rookie.
Definitely. Yeah, that'd be awesome. 19. Who do you got here?
Hayden Hurst.
Nice. Okay. I've got Higbee, so I don't really want to touch anything more on him. Do you want to touch more on Hurst?
Nah. It's just his career is just interesting, man. I mean, drafted in the first round by the Ravens. Never really did anything. They got Mark Andrews. Kind of went by the wayside. Went down to Atlanta. Got paid.
Yep. And then they got Kyle Pitts.
No, then they got Oh, never mind. You're right. I was thinking about Austin Hooper, who left Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hayden Hurst replaced Austin Hooper for that year. They paid him. Didn't really do anything. Went to Cincy. Paid him decent. Didn't really do anything. I'm hoping this is, the fourth time's the charm.
Yeah. I'd like to see it happen.
Teams clearly know how talented he is. They keep paying him. He went first round.
It's because he does everything on the field good. He's just not catching balls.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Great tight end, not catching balls.
I think that brings us to number 20 then.
20. I'm excited about my number 20.
Who do you got?
Luke Schoonmaker for the Cowboys.
Ooh.
Their rookie tight end.
A couple rookies on your list.
Yeah, I had to. Can't not put the rookies on. Got to have a few, but Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely joining a potent ass offense.
I mean, I just saw something the other day that said Dak said he for sure wasn't going to get 25 interceptions this year. So I foresee him getting around 30 maybe. And that means for a very, very high-powered offense. A lot of offense if you're throwing 30 interceptions.
Honestly, though, I mean,
the
Cowboys. No, I mean, dude, he had 30 picks last year or whatever it was, and the Cowboys 25. Were still, however, I can't remember our exact where we finished in offense, but I know it was top 5.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with 30 turnovers or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's joining, honestly, the Cowboys are legit, a top 3 offense.
But, yeah. Yes, I'd like to see them be better this year. Dak more efficient.
I mean, he can do what Dalton Schultz did.
Yeah.
Basically.
Uh-huh. That's what I see out of him, and that's what I hope for. And if it comes out that way,
he'll be
Luke
way
Schoonmaker
higher.
is a top 6 tight end.
Yeah, he'll be way higher than this. And nobody's thinking about that guy. He's not getting drafted.
No.
You don't even need to draft him. Even in your deep leagues, probably. You can just waiver wire him.
Maybe if you had a deep dynasty and you wanted to make him your second tight end, you could do it. But that's...
Oh, yeah, in a dynasty league.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a rookie draft and you need tight end for your bench.
Uh-huh.
I could see
then
that.
You're just not feeling any type of way about anybody else?
Yeah. But that's it.
Yeah. But a high potent offense. So, the upside's there. That's why he's here, is I can see him having Dalton Schultz type effect on the Cowboys. And he might even be better than Dalton Schultz. But we don't know. He really played better in college than Dalton Schultz. So
yeah, he's athletic.
We'll
probably
see.
More so than Schultz.
Yeah. The setup is there.
Yeah. I have Juwan Johnson at my 20. Again, though, I wasn't really thinking about Taysom Hill when I made this. I mean, Juwan Johnson was the guy last year in New Orleans, above Taysom Hill. But he had 7 touchdowns last year, 500 yards, which are both solid. That's both of those are way better than tight end 20 rank.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about Jimmy Graham. I'm worried about Taysom Hill. And I'm a little bit worried about Derek Carr just not utilizing tight ends, period.
Yeah.
Because Taysom Hill, yes, he's listed as a tight end, but he's going to get the ball. Even if it is catching and stuff, he'll line up as a receiver and catch the ball, in the slot.
Yeah.
Derek Carr is a receiver throwing quarterback.
Right.
Darren Waller was kind of an outlier in Derek Carr's whole career, in my opinion, anyways, just watching him play and stuff.
That's just a big body out there.
Yeah, every time he has a receiver that's good, he just peppers that guy with targets.
Yeah.
Which I think Olave will be that guy this year.
Agreed. If Mike Thomas can touch the field, though, both have a chance to be very good pass catchers behind Derek Carr because he's going to pepper the both of them. Their skill sets are similar to me in the way that they can run routes pretty crispy.
Mm-hmm.
And the only difference is Olave is a little quicker.
He's faster for sure.
But both of them are Ohio State wide receivers.
I mean, they have all the
Come out
talent
in the
there.
same molds.
No doubt about the talent.
Yeah.
It's a matter of making it all fit and work with that coaching stuff.
And we're not even mentioning Rashid Shaheed, who I've got stashed deep down on my dynasty teams.
Man, he is fast as hell.
Yeah. And if we know anything, it's that Derek Carr loves to shoot that shit over the top, especially when Mac Hollins was over there with the Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
So, him too.
Yeah, but Saints are kind of just a mixed bag of players that we don't really know anything about at this moment in time. Mm-hmm. That we're really just have to watch them play and see how it shapes out with Derek Carr running the show.
On paper, it looks like it can be good, but who knows how it'll translate.
Yeah. You want to go to 21? Or do you have 20?
I just have 20.
Okay.
On some more news, though, that we forgot to mention at the beginning. No need to worry about Saquon anymore.
Yeah.
He signed that 1 year, $11 million deal. So draft him with ease.
Yeah, draft him high and draft him confidently.
Expect him to come out and put up running back numbers that are worthy of $15 million a year.
Hell yeah, man.
So you want a banger, Saquon.
I'm excited about it.
All right, y'all. It looks like that's our number 20, so that'll wrap it up.
Sounds good. We'll get back to y'all next week with some more videos. I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe receivers. I definitely want to start getting into some sleeper and bust videos and just value picks because that's really what it's more about than rankings.
For sure.
About where you pick the players.
Yeah, where you're going to catch that value at. That's truly fantasy is value.
That's all it is.
I mean, if you can really draft however you want. You can go wide receiver, as long as you know how to hit that value everywhere else in the end of the draft if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
There's some,
there's some crazy strategies out there. It's all about just making value picks, though, at the end of the day.
It is.
All right.
Alrighty, y'all. We'll hit y'all next week.
Sounds good.
Peace.